right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the monthly Higher Education Coalition meeting. We are going to be doing something a little bit different, but it's still traditional for us in December. Everybody knows what's going on with this. We are going to be doing our end of year discussion, and we will be talking about all the things that we're doing this year and all the things that are coming for next year, which is extremely exciting for all of us. I have put the agenda into the chat room right now so you guys can follow around with everything that I'm doing, and that's totally wonderful. But before we get started, as always, instead of doing chat rooms, I just want to take a second and let everyone catch up with everyone. Like, I don't know if Desi knows Kim or Lisa knows Kim, and trust me, you guys all have to meet each other. And everyone knows Ashton because we know she's up in Northern Illinois University. But if you'd like to start, Ashton, introduce yourself since I highlighted you like a idiot.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. My name's Ashton Kleekamp. I'm the Policy and Research Director with the University of Illinois Education Justice Project, and also taking part in the CWAC cohort that started a couple months ago. So, really glad to be here and to support Unlock Higher Ed in a myriad of ways, and always great to meet other folks in the network. Kim or Kimberly, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, thanks everybody. My name is Kim Haven. I'm not sure how I fit into everything and, just sort of like there. But I've been around for a very long time. Been a part of Unlock Higher Ed before Unlock Higher Ed was even created. So I'm one of the founding members of it. And I'm on the board of the Alliance for Higher Education in Prison. So I've been doing this work for a real long time. I'm a policy wonk based in Maryland right now, but if anybody knows of any policy jobs, I'm just saying, looking to relocate, happy to do that. So I've been, thank you, um, since like the 70s. Dude, dude, how fucking old do you think I am?
I think it was sarcasm. How long have you been working policy? I
Okay, about
thought
100 years, but that's beside the point. But anyway, so I've been around this space for a real long time. I know either all of your names, I've worked with you, or in some form or fashion, but I am a straight up policy wonk and analyst and legislative guru. So here to help any way that I can. And I will popcorn it over to Desiree.
Hello, everyone. I'm here. I found out about Unlock Higher Ed at NCHEP 14. I'm excited to be here. I was at the last meeting. I'm a co-author with Breaking Chains, Building Futures, and just honored to be in the space and learn so much from you all. I'll popcorn it to Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. I'm actually everything that Desiree just said. I'm a co-author. I'm part of CWAC. I Policy changes are my passion. I follow the legislature closely in my state or even on the West Coast. Kim Haven, everybody at MCIW says hello. And I met you at NCHEP, took pictures with you. Anyways, that's about it. And who else do we have? Just Mickey.
Well, I think first of all, you guys all know Mickey. I am just the wizard behind the scenes that pulls a lot of levers and makes smokes appear, puts up pretty pictures and advertises these meetings. It's always a pleasure in order to see all of you guys. It is so amazing when you think about it. And in the chat, I talked about some of the things that you guys kind of forgot to talk about. Even though Kim addressed her policy share, weren't you the first system impacted individual in order to create policy?
Yeah, I was one the first formerly incarcerated person to draft policy and get it passed bipartisan, and I'm the only formerly incarcerated person who's written and passed policy 5 times. And two of my bills were first in the nation bills. So I've kind of been around a minute. Thank you very much. I'm
No, and
also
I
on
just want
CWAC. You'll see me pop up, and it is just sort of I'm everywhere, everywhere and nowhere.
Kim doesn't tell you this, but I demanded and called and begged for her. So if you are at CWAC, you'll be seeing her moving forward a lot more. But when you think about a statewide policy program, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit as we do our recap, you will know you should get familiar with Kim's work because you will hear a whole lot more of it. I can't believe that Desiree did not say that she is the author of 2 books, not one. Please don't lie to me, Desiree. I saw this. And comes with her own exciting podcast, of which somebody standing here who's talking right now was a guest on at one point, though I'm so sorry and I don't know why she made that decision. I
You
think
are
that,
amazing. You are amazing.
oh, no, thank you. You are. And I would point out that not only does Lisa know Larry Miller, who is one of my personal heroes. For those who don't know, he was the first CEO of Nike, wrote his own book. He was system impacted and had to navigate a corporate world. But she, in her own right, is one of the founders of Project Rebound out of the Oregon chapter. Did I get that right, Lisa, when I said founder? Do you get the title or?
Yes, absolutely, I do.
See, you guys sometimes forget to lead with your strengths and what makes you amazing, but there is somebody that I just noticed who came on, and Elijah, I have heard a million things about you. I have published pictures about you. I do not think we've ever actually talked. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, I would. How's everybody doing? Um, Glad to be here. Just finished up some study. Um, but glad to be here. Don't think I've met everybody. It's kind of because when I was in P2P, I got locked back up, unfortunately, to kind of finish some of the stuff that I had to do. So it kind of put this bridge between us. But it's definitely um nice to meet everybody.
So when you think about a bridge, I want you to think there's something like a 75 to 80% recidivism rate, and it happens to all of us. You just have to remember the Chinese proverb, fall down 7 times, get up 8, which I truly hope you don't make that number. Maybe we should call it fall down twice, get up 3. But regardless, you are still loved, you are still respected, and you are still one of us. And we are so glad to have you today at this meeting in Unlock Higher Education. And I secretly have a little film that has yet to be previewed, and I did hint at that, and it is about your book. I am so glad to get a chance to meet and greet with all of you. I honestly think this is probably one of the most amazing video opportunities because, as you guys know, usually when I'm behind all the Zoom levers, I don't usually get a chance to actually discuss these things and actually get into the breakout rooms to talk with you guys. So it is so wonderful to me that we could have some time with Christmas for Mickey to get his own personal big, huge breakout room. And thank you guys all for entertaining me and telling me more about you guys and giving me a chance to highlight how each and every one of you are an incredible, incredible person in this industry in some way, shape, or form or fashion. With that being said, which is my favorite transition ever, but I'm just following the agenda, I would like to take a little bit time to talk about not only how 2025 is gone, but how 2026 is going. I want to go ahead and start with the State of Unlock Higher Education and the State Education and Workforce Advisory Collaborative. You guys might not realize this, but with the shift in political landscape that has caught all of us off and aware, some things have had to change with advocacy. And like Kim was saying, she was with the first generation of Unlock Higher Education. She's here with this generation of Unlock Higher Education. And in some ways, we are moving into a third wave of unlocking higher education as we build a new collaborative. One of our chairs who can't be here today likened it to the idea of mushrooms. When mushrooms grow in the forest, you often see them as independent entities, but the reality is that they are sharing a root system and they often communicate with each other. With the Department of Education looking towards a shift and a move into statewide power, beginning the process and building deeper relationship with statewide legislators means that not only will we have power and ability to advocate and educate these policymakers, but it gives us the ability to refine how we do it. In the past, we have had Hill Days. Those have been absolutely fantastic. We have so many pictures of Unlock Higher Education people with different senators all over the United States. But this time we could do something where we build a more consistent relationship with our legislators. I actually had somebody named Kim, who might or might not be here, speak to me about the idea of when we're educating in advocacy, we create more strength and more power by creating consistent relationships with our legislators, which was part of what helped us design our future upcoming 12-week course. Kim, do you want to talk anything about it? Do you want to say anything about the CWAC program?
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, my computer's acting weird, which is why I might have to jump off and switch computers for like 5 minutes. I think the thing that we need to keep in mind with CWAC and with any work that anybody's doing in legislative stuff, federally we're screwed. It is just sort of what it is. However, where we can drive a lot of power is at state and local levels. The other thing that I get excited about when I think about CWAC is that it not only brings together education and workforce, but it also brings the opportunity for us to engage other state-based actors that we might not have thought about activating. And when I say that, I think about there's opportunities for administrative policy advocacy. And so I just think that as we're developing this out over the course of the next year, that these are sort of the things that are going to be themes that are going to start coming up, and that we can start building through. So I hope you all decide to continue not just with UHE, but also with CWAC, because you will be seeing a lot of me.
I definitely always welcome seeing a lot of you, and Kim is just one of the experts, an overall expert who's one of the administrators. You'll see her name attached to the email that got sent out this morning as a CC, but we are bringing experts from every part of the industry. It's not going to be Mickey in a corner teaching these courses and just talking. I believe our first course was taught by Dr. Stanley Andressi and Jay Holder, MS, while they discussed the history of unlocking higher education. And these are two gentlemen who have been there at the advert since the very beginning. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed that course, and I really hope that more experts are coming up. Though Mickey may pop in and discuss a little bit about how to do a social media post eventually, or how to talk to your legislator. I know that is something that personally excites me. I understand in the past that we've been very quick on training. We've been trying to expand our training program. The last time we had a Hill Day, we actually built online training for individuals to review and understand. But there is just absolutely nothing that just beats the idea of me getting these people who have been involved in real change, real policy, real discussions, coming and sitting down with people in order to have real and frank discussions and answer their questions. And that is something that I think is amazing to see, and something that so gets me fired up, because I believe out of CWAC you will see the next generation. I don't know if you guys have looked at some of our banners, but I still very much feature the original 7 or 8 or 10 people that are involved with the original Ban the Box effort, because in some ways all of us think of them as superheroes, whether or not we're talking to Chris Beasley, a Noel Vest, who is publishing papers every time I turn around. Sarita Stibe is in that picture, and Sarita has probably gathered every award that the city of New Orleans can give her. Dr. Stanley Andressi, who might have done a couple things. I'm not sure if I remember what he did, but we can review that later. Each of those people in that picture turned into powerhouses on their own, and the identity and leadership that they brought forward inspires us to this day. So we are getting a chance to bring those individuals to you, allow you to pick their brains, and send you forward to create what I believe will be the future of Unlock Higher Education, because you guys will have advocacy benefits that I could not imagine. I remember, and I picture back to my first Hill Day, and somebody who just disappeared, Kim, looked at me and she's like, look, we can't be talking like we're back in the block. We can't be over here in a corner. You have never met humanizing language. And I looked at her and went, humanizing language? Which Pokemon is that? And thank the heavens, she took 5 phone calls, 3 emails, two meetings, and at the same time sat in a corner at the courtyard of Washington, D.C. in front of the House of Representatives and educated me. But if you think about that, if someone like Kim, you just identified she's the first system impacted person to run legislator, hadn't have taken the time with somebody dopey like me, to this day, I think the numbers are like 1/2 to 3/4 of a million people I reach with messaging. Mine is 75% curse words, and I use a lot of that Pokemon called humanizing language in order to push forward our messaging and build education of temps. And this is the education and this is the dream that I hope to give all of you through CWAC. And these are the things that just kind of wake me up in the morning, jumping out of bed like American Dad. And yes, I do jump out of bed seeing Good Morning USA. Just joking. So with that being said, that's not the only part we have. That is one of the small roots and one of the small pieces. This month's meeting, which will be this Thursday, will be with me again. It will be open office hours. So if you're having a problem getting online, if you can't find the syllabus, if you're having any issues, I'm going to set online and work those issues out with you. I'm not sure if people always realize, but there'll be 8 or 10 people that I am talking to during any given meeting, which is a lot of time why my screen just stays blank with the logo across it, because I'm coordinating a lot of things behind the scenes. And I will have the time for anything that has slipped beneath the scenes or anything that I've missed, because crazy story, I'm just one person doing my best some days. We will sit down and hammer those out. If you have a problem with what you're doing, a suggestion or something we can do better, we will also be entertaining those and discussing those. And I will be taking notes because I know I'm not the smartest man in the world. And there's always room for improvement. And I believe Judith would agree that there is also room for improvement. But we are very, very excited with 2026. 2026 also comes in Unlock Higher Education news. We have signed 3 interns, and we are extremely excited. They are going to conduct some studies, help with CWAC programs. Being their younger people, I've also requested they review my social media program just to make sure I'm staying current and I'm not the most annoying thing on earth. I try to get away from full out marketing and kind of be a little bit more open, honest, and authentic on our UHE channels, because I believe it's important for people to see authenticity in the future in how we do things versus just billboards in a way that they're traditionally done. But you may be contacted by those interns, and those interns may talk to you about some things. They're only there to help us. They are increasingly brilliant students that we look forward to also contributing in other ways as the future of Unlock Higher Education. Because when we think about this, it's one thing, I believe personally, that it's one thing to preach to the choir. It's a whole nother thing to start reaching out, bringing in people from law enforcement, which we've historically done. And we do have partners, bringing in partners from academia and helping to educate individuals who are in collegiate settings right now in order to help them to be better advocates, have a better understanding, and have a more compassionate approach to the issues that we're discussing. Creating those types of allies for us is an important part of the Unlock Higher Education future. And I promise you, we are working on that too. And these 3 young ladies, and they happen to be ladies, these 3 young ladies are extremely motivated. They're extremely excited, and they're extremely ready to get to work. And we look forward to everything that they're working on. And we look forward to releasing some of the background information that they will be doing for you. Now, with that being said, I am going to talk for a little bit about video. I am sure most of you know, but we have been working diligently throughout 2025 to really stabilize our position. We have built a new Unlock Higher Ed YouTube channel, separating it from the historical classic from Prison Cells PhD, and we have taken some old meetings. Kim, you might want to plug your ears for what I'm about to say. We've moved those old meetings to the Unlock Higher Education channel, but we've also learned to edit and build our videos with a little bit more intro, conclusions, some sponsored ads, something that looks more atypical. It's really amazing, and I do tell you, if you guys see some of those YouTube videos, please share. For example, we had an administrator from NITA come and talk to us about how she's giving free money out with the e-commerce part of the government, and she's talking about equity grants right now that we're filing for. So we are putting up extremely important individuals. We had Ashton speak for one of us, and she has some inspirational stories. And we actually have had ties with more college facilitators. Last month, we had somebody from Illinois discuss the clean slate proposal that was just passed, and they actually worked on that administrative law. We are bringing high impact people who are here to discuss high level matters of how to succeed and push these things forward. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe you are tired of my face on these horrible YouTube videos, and I'm even surprised that I have to look at my face in the mirror. I'm sorry, but we've also moved to voice only discussions on Spotify and Apple Podcast. I will tell you what, last week I was driving down the road and I don't know why it was, but they decided I need to listen to my own podcast that I publish on my account. And of course, we have created these accounts separately from mine so that they can be passed down to the next person who's going to be taking up this fight when I walk away. But I would encourage you to also remember, especially when you see us advertising on social media, you can go straight over, you can go look us up, and 2 days after every single meeting, you can get the news, you can get the information, you can get these highly superior, experienced speakers giving you ideas and information on how to execute advocacy across the United States and how to make changes to laws. And I know when I discussed during my Washington trip, I discussed the idea that Les Miserables was 300 years ago and nothing has particularly changed from that system. And with the representative I was talking about, he looked and he actually recognized the book. In 3 sentences, I was able to sit down and communicate to him a world of frustration that we as advocates have every single day. And that ability to look and to choose my words and to choose that idea are the types of things that are going to move our messaging forward. We have to move, we have to change, we have to grow and evolve with how we broadcast our messaging, because there are 3 parts to any message. There's the sender, the receiver, and the vehicle we transport it in. We're not changing the sender. Maybe we're just sending a Jeep in the snow instead of a Mustang in the ice that can't get there, to a receiver who might or might not be inherently receptive to what we're saying. But continuing to practice, continuing to hone our skills, continuing to pull out those speaker series, these are things that are going to help us communicate our message. I am dying to talk to some of the senators who are actually opposed to our messaging, because I think there's a lot more alignment than they realize. But if we don't watch how we say it, we're not going to succeed. So you are going to see more education efforts. And as we move into 2026, and Judith hasn't even been told this yet because I don't usually ask permission, even though I'm so lucky to work for such an amazing leader, I just personally believe in asking for forgiveness rather than permission sometimes. Judith will be finding out that we are also opening an Unlock Higher Education TikTok, where we will be moving our short form content that is currently published across YouTube and Instagram. We have found that our short form context does really, really well with the younger audience and starts beating what I like to refer to as a drum. A short clip of something important that one of our speakers said kind of gets into the ears. With P2P, we're seeing somewhere around 4,000 to 6,000 views. That means people that might or might not have been exposed to what we're doing and how that's working for us are now getting exposed in small 30-second to 2-minute pieces that give them the information, the small bite size of information that they can carry around with them to start that conversation that they might otherwise not start if they weren't flipping through. And we plan to continue that process and expand out that digital footprint, because we believe, or I believe eventually the written form content that we put out with the pictures is slowly going to start decrescendoing as we move towards a new medium. And it appears, whether or not I agree with it or not, that video will be the future of how we present information to people in the future across social media platforms. So please share. I am sure you will see it come out across social media and probably email about all our electronic offerings, including the future TikTok channel. But I am super excited for the future of Medium. I am super excited for what's going on. I can tell you on another TikTok channel that I work for that is also a 501c, we have news articles, or we have news organizations actually starting to tap our TikTok channel. They're actually starting to watch some of our messaging, and we can see when they're verified news organization because it tells you who views your profile. So these are important things that will continue for that message. So that is two of the three things that I wanted to discuss. I wanted to discuss our State Education and Workforce Advisory Collaborative, and I wanted to discuss our messaging and video outreach program, which has been moving on in a superior manner. With that being said, I would also like to discuss what we had. We have a few of the authors from Breaking Chains on here, but before we do that, I heard that we are allowed to go ahead and share the Amazon commercial that will be coming out. It has been previewed in one place, but it has not been widely seen yet. I'm optimizing for video sharing. If you hear an awkward pause, please don't tell on me. I'm a Toastmaster, so we get deemed on awkward pauses. But as you see the black screen come, before we take a moment to discuss that major victory of the book that talks about the way that people are bringing forward change, it would be my pleasure to play that commercial for you. So with no further ado.
Every year, countless lives are defined by cycles of incarceration and struggle. Yet within those same walls, stories of resilience, learning, and transformation take root. But some individuals make it and become better people for their experiences. Instead of surrendering to an overburdening system, they grow and evolve to become game changers who challenge the status quo.
Some people didn't get their first chance. I wrote an article about that in there. When people speak about second chances, some people never got their first chance. Being born into poverty, you didn't even have your first chance. Being born to a situation where the parents may use some type of substance, they have substance use challenges, you didn't get your first chance. You going from family member to family member house, food insecurity or housing insecurity, didn't even get your first chance. So we talking about a second chance when some people haven't even achieved their first chance yet.
Inspirations for tomorrow's leaders.
When the character didn't have to exist, when the reality of William Gregory Freeman III, not as he was reared, but as he had become, was like, you know what? I'd rather have opposition to who I really am than friends to a character I'm presenting.
Leaders themselves building a better community and society for tomorrow.
What kept us together is this. Actually, I have the answer for that. What kept us together is the support system that we've created, or that has been created for us and handed to us, has been nothing but things that have contributed to a successful life together of building a family, putting two families together, and it's not always easy and it's not always nice, you know? But the support system that we have.
The journeys remind us that redemption is not the end of the story. It's the turning point. From the shadows of confinement, rise the architects of a new tomorrow, proving that even in the darkest places, the light of purpose can still break through. From award-winning author of From Prison Cells to PhD, Dr. Stanley Andrisi, comes new powerful stories of other leaders who are standing up next to Dr. Andrisi. Read more about their stories in Breaking Chains, Building Futures, Pathways to Redemption, Education, and Excellence. The best part? The story doesn't end here. It's only just begun.
Did everyone see that okay? Was it skipping too much for you guys? I I thought before we discuss the book, and I know we dedicated one to all the authors, I wanted to also take a moment and think about those words. I know that Lisa's having a hard time right now with life circumstances, and she may address that. So it might have been kind of harder for her to see that. But each of those was a story of hope. Each of those were a story of what we're trying to move forward. The bottom line is what we're doing is the key to education, is the key to change. In each of these stories, the common thread is how the world changes, and work like ours creates opportunities for tomorrow's Lisa or tomorrow's Elijah. And the idea that we get this out to the mainstream and we push this out to the mainstream and we get people to listen and to understand that we truly are people, that is why we show up to these meetings. That is why we put in that work. That is why I spend so much time morning, noon, and night harassing you guys with emails. And I hope that through 2026, you continue to stick with us and you continue to grow stronger in your advocacy. And I hope that we can help it, or I can be there to help it. Judith can be there to help it. Everyone can be there to help you in the best way possible. With that being said, we have some of the authors, and I will start by Lisa on the spot because I brought her up on. If you'd like to talk a little bit about the book and what it means to you.
Hmm. Okay, hello, my name is Lisa, and it was kind of hard to watch or hear the words because, well, we have a blended family, right? I met my wife in prison. We were married inside, never told DOC, kept it a secret because of their policy to separate people, and they do it on purpose, you know. I feel like that's a cruel thing to do to a human when prison is so cold and so cruel in the first place. And so, anyways, we were married inside. The only person that knew was the native chaplain and the lady at the business office that sent the check to the Washington County. Um, anyways, we've been married 5 years, and our blended family consists of myself, and I have a 26-year-old son, and Rachel has a 26, 25, 19, 17, and 13-year-old. So it's not always easy, you know. Sometimes it's really hard. But her 17-year-old son was just hit by a car here in Seattle about 14 days ago. And he was a pedestrian, and the car was doing about 55 miles an hour. And he's in the hospital in Seattle, trauma unit, pediatric trauma unit, but he has a lot of substantial damage done to his body. The one good thing is that when he isn't sedated, he knows everybody's voices, and he's already tried to pry one of his eyes open to see where he's at. And of course, this is Christmas time, you know, and I'm here at the house trying to hold the fort down, trying to carry all the bills and, you know, pay the rent and send her money. And it's very difficult. It's a challenge that we didn't anticipate, and times are hard in this economy. And I know that she's got something on her page that is a support.org. If anyone would like to donate or can contribute, even $10, you know, will help. It pays for gas and parking and food. I know that the hospital paid for the hotel there until the 23rd. So after that, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, but he's had shattered pelvis, 2 broken bones in his leg. His orbital sockets are shattered. You know, a lot of cranial damage and a lot of facial reconstruction that's going to have to be done. But the good thing is that he's alive. So, Mickey, thank you for bringing that to light. It's not always easy to talk about, and it's just the process about the book. Like, I read Stan's first book while I was on the inside, and it gave me hope that I could have criminal convictions and be somebody. And I'm not talking about be somebody to the world. I'm talking about be somebody to myself. Um, he gave me hope because when I went to prison, it was still taboo. You know, it was like people with criminal convictions, they had such a hard time when they got out. You know, most of them just went back because they can't do anything else. But when I read his book and I realized that I could go to school and that I could get a PhD and that I could do something um, to help other people, that's what I wanted. It's what I wanted to do. And that's who I always was. I was just never afforded that opportunity to be that person. So Oswald talks about people didn't get a first chance. That would have been me. And uh, being part of P2P has been the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. It has given me family members across the nation that I never thought I would have, and I probably wouldn't know otherwise. Um, it's really given me a lot, and we really are a family unit. And so I show up, I suit up and show up for everything. And I'm a diehard P2P person, and I'll do anything for my family. So with that, I will give it over to Desi.
No, that's a lot. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about the book. I feel like everything else has been said. Um, I'm going through the support now.org to send something. Hopefully, the messages to send something. That really is all that matters right now. Try to find the link in the let me try to find the link in our thread so I can share it here in the Zoom and maybe people that see it later
It's
can.
already up, Desi.
Oh, you got it. Okay, perfect. All right, yeah. So just sending something over now. That's what's most important. I was texting Rachel the other day and just telling her like how strong he is and how blessed, he is to have her as a mother. And I couldn't imagine as a mother of five myself what that must feel like. And we have to support each other and really like, us being just back to all that stuff doesn't really matter. Like we're people. He's a young person. He's going through something that's not his fault. That's crazy. And he's getting facial reconstructive surgery. Like that's crazy at 17. Like it's heartbreaking. I'm so grateful that he's alive. I'm so grateful that Lisa and Rachel have each other. They're a beautiful family, some of my favorite folks. They love my kids. I care about their children. And so just send something. Like I don't have a lot. I have some more, hopefully next week I'll try to send some more and just try to take care of them. They're really great people. Like we were at the hotel. We was just at the hotel. Y'all was bringing my kids toys and all kind of stuff we didn't need. We got too many toys. Y'all just be just showering us with blessings and like I just hope that the world showers you all and loves on y'all just as much as y'all love on everybody else. You're amazing people, salt of the earth. So like whoever's hearing this, like give them something. Like give them something. All right, I love y'all. And I'm hugging y'all from across the country. You matter to me. My family loves you. My kids love you. And I'm just praying for your boy.
We definitely support you, Lisa, and I'm definitely the words hit me as I thought about it. I know the video was there. I know the point, and I've seen Desiree's beautiful children. You make beautiful babies. I don't. You should meet my little monsters. They're totally different. One told me Camaro was a great car last week, and I was just in an emotional crisis. But Lisa, you're gonna make this through. This is the part of sticking together. These are the pieces are here. And I love how everyone accepts us as a family. We all work together with our individual talents on our individual pieces. And that's what's really, really important. And the way we contribute that to giving to others, whether it's through the P2P program, which you referenced, and it is a coalition effort, or it's Unlock Higher Education. We're creating opportunities for the people of tomorrow. We are stepping up and getting to be the Stan or the Sarita or the Noel or the Chris of tomorrow, which is extremely, extremely amazing. And setting those examples are so wonderful. I do want to make a little bit of space. Elijah, I've never even heard you talk about the book. If you'd like to give a couple words, you are more than welcome to speak too, sir.
Okay, yeah. I'm just a little sad hearing the situation. I'm definitely gonna try to say something. Um, yeah, I hate when I get sad. But the book, I think my part is like I just kind of explain my journey from fighting my murder case to, well, I explained a little bit before the murder case and then leading up to the case, then coming home and finding P2P and just what P2P has done for me as far as like placing me in like a group, a family setting of accountability and just motivation and just all the different resources and different walks of life from people. I also kind of put in my chapter a friend who was going through the same thing while I was fighting my case. He was also fighting a case, and we both came home at the same time as when I initially started my relationship with P2P. But in that same time, he kind of drifted off a little more and ended up eventually getting killed later on that year. So I just kind of it's hard to talk about it because I really don't read it because it's like strong like that. So I don't really read it, but it just talks about me and his relationship, and then it like just shows our different viewpoint of like what I felt like I learned, what I felt like he didn't learn, and then just like trying to uplift other people reading it to not go his route, and then also kind of like as a note to myself. So
Thank you, Elijah. And I think it's important to memorize ideas in people, whether or not they inherently did what we agree with. I know it's somewhat unrelated, but for those of you who know, I did 20 years in multiple combat tours in the military, and I get messages sometimes about some of the people we're losing to the battle for PTSD and how we can step in. And it can really hit hard when you just get a message for somebody or something happens or something changes. Like with Lisa, that was just a cold night a little bit ago, and it just changed her life forever. And the people we lose and the way that we mark and memorialize them is a part of what our mission is, because at the end of the day, that's the point of what family does. And sometimes family needs to come together for advocacy to make sure that the further family, the beyond the what I'll call the nuclear family, though I think you guys understand why I'm using the term. I know that's typically mother, father, children, but I mean in this case, literally the extended family are also getting opportunities to move forward. And every one of these stories are what moves the potential further for tomorrow's people. And that is why we do this issue tomorrow. Someday this is going to sound crazy. Mickey's going to stop running his mouth. Mickey's going to stop making social media posts. There will be eventually one last bad email from Mickey, and somebody's going to have to come be the next Mickey. I don't know what they'll look like. I don't know who they are, and it doesn't matter really. But if we create this groundwork for them, and if we continue moving this football down the field, so to speak, I think I use that term right. I'm not a football guy. We can move forward and we can see what we're doing and build something better for tomorrow. I liken this to mentorship. I have a few young men I mentor. For those of you who follow me on Facebook, they know I push really hard to create opportunities for those individuals too. And my point to them is if I put three good, strong leaders into the world at least, and those three leaders make three more leaders, eventually I may not have changed the entire world, but I've started changing my entire corner. And one of the reasons I chose today in order to play that film is the idea surrounded on there is the P2P mark of authenticity. It's the powerful words from the scholars, it's the powerful words from the authors, who is somebody that we've discussed that's pushing this movement forward, because we have to give real and authentic faces to this movement in order to move. For those of you who don't know the book Les Miserables, or Miserable, I always pronounce it wrong, excuse me. In the book, the main protagonist's name, or the main character's name, is Jean Valjean, which translates from French to John, son of John, because they want you to know this is a story that happens all the time to everybody, and he isn't inherently special in what he does, how he handles it, how he builds upon it. He's merely just another man, another person, if you will. Don't get me wrong, another person moving forward through the criminal legal system, trying to make a better place in the world. And obviously, when we look at a book like Breaking Chains, or when we discuss that idea of breaking chains, we are blessed enough in order to now have new John, son of Johns, whether or not their name is Lisa or Elijah or Desiree, to continue to give a voice, a face, a personality to why we have to strive forward for this movement. So with that being said, we kind of took a moment and we reviewed some of the main things that UHE has been involved with, whether or not we discussed 2025 and leading into 2026, our initiatives, specifically for CWAC, the internship moving forward, our media and messaging and outreach, not only just to other advocates, but opening our message up to the greater public, which led to a discussion over one of our coalition partners, P2P, and their new book and our publication, giving us a chance to see some of the outreach that's being done to give a face, to give a personality to individuals who are system impacted. And I think all of those things are important, and I just see this getting bigger. There are a few surprises I can't inherently say, and all of them are good, coming for Unlock Higher Education in 2026. And I promise you, I have more plans up my sleeve. Judith has more plans up her sleeve. We were just excitedly discussing about some future plans Sunday afternoon, and I look forward to sharing all of those as those move forward for you guys too. I want to take a couple moments. Of course, we have the Breaking Chains podcast. If you guys want to hear more out of what you heard about those smaller clips and those smaller messaging, there is a resilience professional mentorship certification coming out. If you guys are seeking mentorship, or you know somebody who just came home, Elijah referenced his friend who didn't inherently make the best choices. And sometimes mentorship can be the answer. And sometimes mentors can say things that we can't say. We have that coming out. Contact me and I will send you a link to that, and I can get you signed up really easy. As we've all mentioned, we all talked about InChep 2025, where we all talked, we all met, pictures were had with Kim. You're welcome next year at InChep 2026, where tickets have just been sold. It is in the state of Ohio, Cleveland, from April 9th through 10th, 2026. That's with one of our other partners, and tickets are on sale now. I cannot tell you January's guest speaker, though we will be talking with her tomorrow, or excuse me, we'll be talking with them tomorrow in the afternoon, and we hope to actually present some more academic findings. Because remember, when we're driving discussion, when we're driving debate, we bringing education through academic sources that aren't inherently coming through our lived sources is another channel, another tool that we can use to progress faster. If you can't catch it here, I'm sure you know what I'm about to say. Like, share, and subscribe to the Unlock Higher Education on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere else you get your podcast. I'm everywhere. And I will give a moment to anybody else who would like to tell us if they have any other events we should feature or amplify. Perfect. And we look forward to bringing you more news articles, more information, more understanding from around the world. I spend hours finding the very best information that's going on in higher education and making sure that not only are that all our stakeholders, not just advocates, not just the educators, not just the academia, but everybody is being educated and they know what is going on across the field so that they can speak intelligently when they're moving to amplify that. If I'm in Illinois, of course, And I tell you that in Utah, they just did a $2 billion grant where they've had a huge drop in recidivism rates due to the education that they're getting. An article we ran 2 days ago. Those are the types of tools you can put in your pocket when you're speaking. Because remember, there are different phases to advocacy and education. We don't want to just tell them our individual stories. That allows people to dismiss that as a minority report. We want to instead present them with greater outlooks, academic information, news sources, our own story, and the stories of others as we move forward to explain what the importance is behind our higher education. And interestingly enough, I will see you all next month on January 26th for not only my birthday, but our next Unlock Higher Education meeting at our normal scheduled time at 1 p.m. And if I have a cake with me, that's my business. Don't be asking about that. Thank you guys so much for coming today. And thank you guys for making this Unlock Higher Education meeting in this year in review something we can be proud of.